Hey YouTube, Brian LCS, thanks for stopping by the channel and this video, Spider-Man number 2 review. So we're going to jump in. There are going to be spoilers, so if you haven't read this yet or plan to read it, you may want to come back at a later time. So we're going to jump in. This is End of Spider-Verse Part 2. This is written by Dan Slott and pencils by Mark Bagley. We've got John Dell, Edgar Delgado, and Joe Caramagna, letterer, colorist. There's all the creative team. So let's jump into the story. We open up with Spider-Man, Peter Parker, talking to Tony Stark and saying that there's been a break-in at the Worldwide Engineering Brigade, short for WEB. It was an initiative that Tony had put together for a while ago. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, was part of it. And Tony's talking to him saying, hey, but, why are you in there trashing it? I see you on security footage. And it's obviously not Spider-Man, but he realizes something else is going on in there. The door is busted open. And when he gets there, I'm finding the page, he realizes that there's some other Spider-Verse Spider-Men who have been turned in part of this overall story. So we see, looks like 2099, Peter Porker, and I'm not sure who that is, but they are part of this overall story that's going on. And then we cut to the current story where we have some Spider-Man team up of Silk and Miles Morales and Peter Parker and Morlun against some other spider villains or spider people from other universes who have been turned. And so we see this kind of fight going on between them, and they're kind of, squaring off, between the different, factions of the spider people here. People who have been turned and stung by these wasps and those who have not. And we kind of see this, battle continue going on. And Morlun, who is an inheritor, and who has really been, not on the side of Spider-Man for some time now, is in the middle of helping them out. And we see Spider-Girl or Aranya show up and help the team. She basically transports them to a different universe to get them out of harm's way. We have Spider-Man Noir, who is here with a dagger who can take the life, basically, of a spider person. We saw that in issue 1 where Jessica Drew was unraveled from the web. And so now we cut back to Loom World, and we see that really the main villain here, Shathra, who is kind of the mastermind behind this, cannot see the Peter Parker and the other, Silk and Miles that she is after, and she's trying to figure out why she can't, see them now. And we come to find out that they are now in a Earth 616 beta universe, which is basically explained as kind of a test universe. To kind of test run things before they happen in the actual 616. And so, Aranya basically, explains that she's, put them here to get them safe for now and to meet up with some other spider characters from different universes. I think I flipped too many pages. Yes, and so we see that there are some other spider characters, like I said, from other universes, and we have now this might be the first appearance, I'm not sure. This is the hunter spider. So Craven the Hunter, Spider-Man mashup there. And so they're getting, basically the 616 and 616 beta spider folks are being introduced to one another. And so they're trying to come up with a game plan here. And so then we see Peter see somebody who looks like Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. And she says, "Yep, I'm her, but I'm known as the Night Spider." And she says, "I rob from the rich." And Peter says, "And just tell me after you got bit, you learned that with great power." And she says, "Comes no accountability. You can go anywhere and take anything." And so we can see she's kind of a different version of, a similar version of the Black Cat. And she actually steals Peter's belt. And so, he knows he's got his hands full with these different spider characters from the different universes. And then we see Madam Web, Julia Carpenter walk in. And so Peter feels like they're in good hands with her. And she explains a little bit more of the backstory of what is going on, and that Shathra basically plans to sting all of the spider people and turn them into her drones. And she does explain that some of the spider people from the Earth 616 have an immunity to the wasp sting that will turn them. But, she also explains that that's why Spider-Man Noir has the totem dagger, which can, sever a spider person from the web of life and basically unravel them. So that's what we saw happen to Jessica Drew. And so, the story is a little, it's a little complicated. We have these different factions kind of the spider, Spider-Verse, spider people who have been affected and some who have not, who are basically the ones that have been affected are under Shathra's control, and she's out to, try to get them all. And so, as they're building their plan to figure out how they're going to deal with this, Spider-Man basically steps and says, "Look, we need to get to the bottom of this before we move any further. Morlun, we need to know, if you're on our side." And so he says, "If we must, let me give you my little bit of backstory." And so he was trying to reunite with his people, the inheritors, and they were turned into infants from a previous, storyline. And they were left with Spider Mama. That's what they call her here, a character who was kind of watching them. But we come to find out that she was turned by Shathra, and she had killed all of the inheritors. And so Morlun is basically the last of the inheritors. And he finds out that, overall, this has been Shathra's, grand plan to basically try to take out the inheritors and then try to take out the spider, all of the different spider people across the different universes. And Morlun actually goes up against her, Shathra, and he is, no match for her, and so he retreats. And so now we cut back to, the present, after he tells the story, and we see that Miles is not feeling well. And then we get the reveal that he has basically been turned into one of Shathra's drones. He was, stung or bit and was affected. And now that he has been turned, Shathra now can see into the 616 beta universe. And we also see that she has been building an army converting, stinging and infecting, like I said, the spider all of the different spider folks from across the different universes. And so she's basically building an army here. So, and that's it. That's where we get left off. So, overall, I thought this was a pretty good story, a pretty good second issue. There's obviously a lot going on. There's some, tie-ins with some previous stories, and a lot of different spider characters from across the the multiverse. So there is a lot going on, but overall you have a good faction who's unaffected and a bad faction who has been stung and affected and now under Shathra's control, and so they're kind of going to be butting heads. So that's kind of where this story goes in this issue. Thought it was pretty good. There was some funny moments. The obviously the Black Cat piece with her being a variant from a different universe. That was pretty funny. And we get a little bit more of the storyline of why Morlun is helping the spider team, and what his motivation or motive is to help them. So overall, this was a pretty good story. Giving it a number out of my 5 webhead review system, I'll go with a solid 3. Enjoyed it, moved it along. It is a little complicated, clunky a little bit at parts because there's so many different things that are backstories that are being pulled in, but like I said, you can kind of get a good sense for it's the good spider people versus the bad spider people. And that's what we have going on here. So that's it. So let me know what you think. If you're reading this story, well, what do you think of it so far? And a question, if you are reading this, I've heard kind of conflicting things, that this is a limited series to 5 issues, but also that Dan Slott would be doing an ongoing series. So I'm wondering if the end of Spider-Verse is just a 5-part story arc, and that they'll continue this as a second Spider-Man book, going forward. So just a little confused. Some of the things I've read was that this, like I said, a limited series, and then some things I've read that it was ongoing. So if anybody knows, has any more information about that, let me know. But I hope you enjoyed the review, and let me know what you think down in the comments. We'll see you next issue.